Hi guys, I'm back to Germany and as I promised, today I will tell you about my trip to Malaysia. So, we were a group of 7 people and in the evening we started our trip from Hsinchu to Taipei and took the plane overnight to Kuala Lumpur. And we arrived very early in the morning the next day and we took some bus to the city, and from there our first goal were the Batu caves. They are famous and they are really close to the city. It's just the last MRT station. So we went there and we saw something unexpected. There were so many monkeys all over the place, eating some stuff and climbing on rocks and doing some monkey things.
Hey baby! Oh, this one! Oh, look at this one!
I just had my new camera and also Hannah, so we were trying to find out which are the best settings to take pictures, and we were very amused. After the Batu caves, we took the MRT back to the city and started exploring. The first thing we saw was the Chinese market. The Chinese market was more or less 2 big streets which cross, and there were many markets with some fake stuff which is very cheap but not necessarily very good quality. But still, I bought from there my backpack, which I later used for my trips. In these streets you can also find many food places, and I can only recommend. After that we went to the TV tower, which is on a hill, so we can see the city from the hill, but if we go up to the tower we can see even more. But the weather wasn't so good and the humidity was very high, so it wasn't very clear. After the tower we went back to the city and we finally went to the towers. We took so many pictures there, jumping, photos, selfies. Then it was the late afternoon and we were very tired because of the flight and all the walking. So we decided to go to our hostel and leave our stuff and take a shower, rest for a while. And then half of the group decided to stay there, and I was in the other half of the group. We decided to go back to the city to see the towers at night too. And I don't regret this. We went to something like the Taiwanese night markets, but I think it was not so good because there were also cars passing through all the people. But anyway, it was still cheap and the food was awesome. But we ate dinner. So the next day we woke up really very early and we went to the airport again. And we took an airplane to some island which is to the north and very close to the border with Thailand. It is called Langkawi. And everything went really well. When we arrived, the first thing to do was to go to the beach, and it was awesome. The sand was so small, and because we were off season there were not many tourists, not at all, only local people who didn't have a lot to do. And we met some guys which owned a banana boat, and they asked us if we want to take a ride, and we said, yeah, why not? And we just got it for free. We were still kind of tired because of the early waking up, but I didn't want just to lay on the beach, and we decided to make a half-day tour in the afternoon, which was the best decision we could do. It was amazing. So on this tour we first went to one island which is famous with a lake, a sweet water lake inside, and we had a lot of fun there. And there were monkeys climbing on the trees and jumping into the sea and playing, and some people gave other monkeys a Sprite and they were drinking it, and it was a very big attraction. I remember I was so thirsty that I wanted to drink from this lake. After the Sweet Lake, we went to feed eagle. Actually, that was the first time I saw an eagle from that close. So we were throwing food into the water, and the eagles were going to the water, taking the food and flying up above our heads and waiting for more. And then we went to another island, which was very close to two other islands, which were also very close to each other, and there were trees between the islands, which you can see. So after these three islands, we went back to our boat and we went back to the city, and it was already almost dark, and we decided to use the last sunlight and take the scooters from the hotel. It was very cool because that was the first time we rented scooters by ourselves, and we went driving into the wild Malaysia where they ride on the left side, and half of us didn't even have their driving licenses. So we rented two scooters with 4 helmets because we were 4 girls. We went to watch the sunset and we had dinner. Anyway, the next day we decided to get only 1 scooter. The third scooter was without helmet because we already had 4. And we went for this trip. We decided that our first stop is the highest point of the island. It was pretty cool, but we had very bad luck. When we got the gondola to the mountain, we saw how a cloud is coming and hiding the peak. And actually, this is what we saw from up there. And the people there told us that we will be able to see Thailand and Indonesia from there. Do you see this waterfall? This is our next stop. We went to the biggest waterfall on the island, and that was, I think, the best waterfall experience I have in my life. Then the local people there recommended us a really small beach, and we didn't want to miss the local recommendation, and we went there. The trip with the scooters was very cool. There was almost no traffic at all. We took selfies and random pictures, and Linda was making videos all the time. Thank you, Linda. Then we went back to our hotel and we returned the 2 scooters with the 4 helmets, and we only had 1 scooter and no helmets. And then we decided that we are too lazy to walk to the beach, so we decided that 2 girls go by scooter to the beach, 1 girl returns, then 2 other go, 1 returns, and the last 2 go and stay there. This worked the first time, but the second time we weren't so lucky, and the police caught us because we were driving without helmets. And they asked us, where are your helmets? And we said, we don't have any helmets. Then they asked, where is your driving license? And I said, in our hotel. Then he asked, passport. And I said, in the hotel. They decided to come with us to the hotel. And they were driving behind us. Before that, I was driving between the cars, overlapping everything. But when they were after us, I was driving just behind the car in front of me and not moving anywhere else really properly. And half of the way they decided that they are too lazy to come with us to the hotel, so they got my friend to stay with them, and I needed to go and take all the stuff and come back. And this is what I did, but it was already dark outside. And this is a really funny story. I parked the scooter next to the walking way, and there was a hole. I didn't see the hole, and I just stepped to the side, and I stepped into the hole. So my whole feet was inside and I fall on the ground. I was all shaking because I was afraid that we will not be able to leave Malaysia ever again. We will go to jail or we have to pay so much money. I was really afraid at the time. And then I guess the police saw us, that we were like I don't know, tourists which have no idea, and they just asked us if we want to give them money, and to leave us alone, and we were just waiting for this. So we paid the policeman and we went to the beach. In the meanwhile, our friend Linda took around 100 pictures of the sunset because she didn't want us to miss anything. Then we had dinner, and one of my dreams became true because we were just laying on the beach in a really nice atmosphere. There were candles. We had a coconut cocktail. When I remember this, I have so good feeling that, I don't know, I cannot explain it. It was amazing.
Yeah, look at that model.
The next day we went to the airport, we flew back to Kuala Lumpur. From there we met our friends, which in the meanwhile were in Singapore by train. And we went back to Taipei, and I will tell you next time what happened.